Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack today's most compelling stories, drawing essential insights straight from the source.
That's right.
Today, we're jumping right into the pages of the Hindu Daily. We'll be exploring India's economic shifts under new U.S. tariffs, the really tragic human cost of industrial negligence, the ongoing debate around electoral integrity.
It's a packed agenda.
Definitely. And also, the plight of migrant workers. And we'll even end on a slightly lighter note with monsoon train journeys.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this first piece. We're starting with some pretty big economic news. The U.S. has imposed new tariffs on India. What's the immediate headline here? What's driving this?
Well, it's a significant development, no doubt. The immediate thing is a 25% reciprocal tariff
Okay.
on quite a range of Indian exports. That kicked in August 7th.
Right.
But there's more. There's an additional 25% levy. This one's being called a penal levy.
Penal. Why penal?
It takes effect August 29th, and it's explicitly linked to India continuing to import oil from Russia.
Okay. So it's targeted pressure.
Exactly. And the article points out, this isn't happening in a vacuum. India has a pretty substantial merchandise trade surplus with the U.S.
Over $41 billion last fiscal year, wasn't it?
Precisely. Over $41 billion. So these measures, especially that penal levy on Russian oil, seem designed to narrow that gap.
And push India towards other oil sources.
Potentially, yes. Which could mean higher costs. The bigger point the article makes is that these unilateral actions really go against the principles of free and fair trade.
Right. So, okay, it's not just a minor adjustment. What does this actually mean for India's economy? What are the projections looking like if these tariffs stick?
Yeah, the potential impact is quite stark, according to the analysis in the article. It suggests India's exports to the U.S. could fall.
By how much?
By around 25%. Now, that's based on certain economic assumptions like import elasticity.
Okay, a significant drop. And the wider economy, GDP growth.
Well, the estimate is that the overall trade deficit could widen quite a bit, maybe by 0.56% of GDP, pushing it towards 7.84%. And that could translate into a drop in real GDP growth for this fiscal year, from maybe 6.5% down to 5.9%.
So over 0.5% potentially shaved off growth.
Potentially, yes. Or maybe 0.4% for the next fiscal year, 2025-26. And another key figure is the current account deficit, the CAD.
Right, the balance of payments, essentially.
Exactly. That's estimated to nearly double, jumping from around 0.6% of GDP up to 1.15%.
It's a big jump.
It is. Now, the article does add caveats, This analysis doesn't factor in potential benefits from new trade deals India is negotiating, like with the UK or EU.
Or how tariffs on India's competitors might change things.
Precisely. It's a complex picture.
Definitely concerning numbers, though. Is India just expected to take the hit, or does the article suggest any ways to, soften the blow? Any strategies?
No, India isn't just sitting back, according to the piece. One avenue is the ongoing talks with the U.S.
On other issues?
Yes, especially on tricky areas like agriculture. Making progress there could potentially ease tensions before a full trade deal.
Okay, what else?
Diversifying export markets is mentioned, moving beyond reliance on the U.S. But the article notes that's hard to do quickly.
Takes time.
It does. An interesting point raised is about India looking at its own import tariffs.
How would that help exports?
Well, the empirical results suggest India's own import duties actually have a negative effect on its exports. So reducing them might, maybe counterintuitively, help exporters.
Huh. Interesting.
And then there's the rupee depreciation. It's been hovering around 87.5 to the dollar.
Right. A weaker rupee makes exports cheaper.
Exactly. So that could offer some cushion for the CAD and GDP growth, just a bit.
But the overall message?
The article concludes that the combined hit from both the reciprocal tariffs and that penal levy could be quite severe. And it strongly suggests India needs to challenge the discriminatory nature of that penal levy, especially on the global stage.
Because other countries buy Russian oil, too.
Far more, in some cases, without facing these specific penalties. That's the core argument.
Okay, let's shift gears now from macroeconomics to something much closer to home and, frankly, quite devastating. Industrial accidents. The author here calls them raw human tragedies. What's the scale we're talking about?
It's grim, and the author really brings a personal perspective, having spent 37 years in the oil and energy sector.
Right.
Their core point is these aren't acts of fate. They were the result of bad choices.
So negligence, basically.
Absolutely. We see these headlines constantly. Sagachi Industries in Telangana recently, that firecracker unit in Tamil Nadu, they're described as symptoms of a deeper, ongoing national crisis.
And the numbers.
The official government data cited is shocking. In just 5 years, at least 6,500 workers died.
6,500.
In factories, construction sites, mines, that averages out to nearly 3 deaths every single day.
That's staggering.
And it might even be an undercount. A 2022 study by the Center for Science and Environment, CSE, looked just at major chemical accidents post-2020.
And found
over 130 incidents, resulting in 218 deaths and over 300 injuries, mostly in small and medium enterprises, SMEs.
the ones that fly under the radar.
Exactly. Operating under regulatory radar, as the article puts it.
Hearing these numbers, the immediate question is just, why? Why does this keep happening? The article says these causes are often elementary and avoidable.
They really are. And it's infuriating because they're so basic. We're talking about a fundamental lack of safety infrastructure.
Like what?
Things like missing fire NOCs, the no objection certificates, or alarms, sensors, fire extinguishers that are either not there or just don't work.
Basic equipment.
Basic stuff. Then there are procedural failures, high-risk jobs done without a proper permit-to-work system.
Which is designed to prevent exactly these kinds of things.
Precisely. It ensures safety checks are done before the risky work starts. And training, often totally inadequate.
Especially for migrant workers.
Yes, particularly for migrant and contract workers who might face language barriers, who might not even know the safety protocols. And then there are the structural dangers.
Like blocked exits.
Exactly. Fire exits, locked. Blocked, sometimes even hidden. And the systemic failures are just as bad. Audits are often just tick box exercises.
Just go through the motions.
Right. Convictions for safety lapses, extremely rare. Penalties, negligible. So there's almost no accountability.
It fosters a culture of carelessness.
It does. The article contrasts this sharply with places like Germany or Japan, where safety is a core value. Here it says, safety is often treated just as a compliance hurdle. Something to get around.
It paints a picture of this awful cycle.
Yeah.
Tragedy, outrage, compensation committee, and then silence.
Ah.
What keeps this cycle going? And who bears the real cost?
That cycle is fueled by what the author calls national indifference.
Indifference. From whom?
From the public, often. From regulators showing inertia. From companies that view safety purely as an overhead cost, not an essential investment.
And there's class bias mentioned too.
A deeply troubling one, yes. The article argues that workers, especially contract laborers, are often seen as disposable.
That's harsh.
It is, and the author explicitly challenges calling these acts of God. They state clearly, these are man-made disasters, caused by negligence, by failed systems.
Are there solutions offered?
Yes, several. Things like introducing corporate manslaughter laws, like they have in South Korea or Singapore, strengthening labor safety boards.
Making them more effective.
Exactly. Digitizing risk reporting for more transparency, and crucially, implementing real whistleblower protection.
So people feel safe reporting dangers.
Right. The piece ends with this really powerful question directed at all of us, really. Do we care enough to act? Or will our silence just keep proving this unspoken indictment true? Who cares? It's a stark reminder that safety is a right.
A fundamental right. Okay, moving on now to another critical area, electoral integrity. This has been a major point of discussion recently. The leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, made some very serious claims against the Election Commission of India, the ECI. What were those allegations?
Yes, these claims definitely make waves. Rahul Gandhi alleged criminal fraud against the ECI.
Strong words.
Very. Specifically, he claimed over 100,000 fake votes were generated in just one assembly segment, Mahadevapura in Bangalore Central.
And the purpose?
Allegedly to help the BJP win the seat in the 2024 general election. He outlined several patterns.
Such as?
Voters registered multiple times, identical voter ID card numbers, EPIC numbers appearing across different states, though the ECI has offered explanations for some of those instances before.
Okay.
But critically, he also alleged multiple votes by the same person using booth slips.
Which directly undermines one person, one vote.
Exactly. He framed it as a calculated modus operandi, particularly in constituencies with close margins, and mentions similar past allegations in Maharashtra.
So a serious set of allegations.
Mm-hmm.
How does the article assess the evidence presented? Does it find a direct link to the election outcome in Mahadevapura?
The analysis in the article is quite nuanced here. It acknowledges that the documents presented do show troubling patterns, things that need looking into. But it also states that establishing a clear causal link between errors on the electoral rolls and the actual poll outcome needs more than just circumstantial correlation.
So the connection isn't proven.
Specifically for Mahadevapura, the article points out that while the BJP's winning margin did increase, the actual increase in the number of voters was much smaller than the alleged 100,000 fake votes.
Meaning the scale doesn't quite match up to proving deliberate fraud affected the result.
That's the suggestion. The article says the allegations fall short of establishing deliberate fraud in that specific instance. It also comments on the ECI's response,
Which was?
described as unnecessarily defensive. They demanded evidence under oath and partly blamed political parties for the discrepancies in the rolls,
Shifting the blame somewhat.
rather than directly addressing the systemic concerns raised about roll integrity, yes.
Okay, so beyond these specific claims, what broader fundamental issues does the article highlight about the ECI's processes and its relationship with public trust, which seems key here?
This is where the article zooms out to systemic problems. One issue flagged is the ECI's habit of releasing voter lists as these huge scanned image PDFs.
Making them hard to search or analyze.
Exactly. It hinders verification. Another point is an over-reliance on self-declarations by voters without enough robust verification mechanisms.
So not enough checks.
Right. The article strongly recommends comprehensive electoral roll reform through door-to-door verification.
Going back to basics.
Essentially, yes. It also mentions concerns from Bihar's roll revision exercise, where there seem to be disproportionately more deletions among women voters. And then there are broader criticisms. Lax enforcement of campaign finance rules, questions about VVPAT tallying only verifying small samples.
The paper trails.
Yes. And inadequate technical safeguards for the EVMs and VVPATs themselves. The article is quite critical of the ECI's reported unwillingness to submit the EVM's technical safeguards to independent expert verification.
That seems significant for transparency.
Absolutely. It also mentions the ECI's resistance to retaining CCTV footage from polling booths and its tendency to view criticism as an attack.
Which isn't ideal for a democratic institution.
The article calls these troubling departures from democratic norms, contributing to an erosion of institutional trust. It actually brings up the Supreme Court suggestion.
About the selection panel.
Yes, to include the Chief Justice of India in selecting election commissioners precisely to boost independence and trust.
And the conclusion on Mr. Gandhi's claims.
The article states that his findings, regardless of proving specific fraud, perform a valuable democratic function by highlighting systemic flaws. And the ECI, it argues, must embrace the principle that democratic institutions grow stronger through scrutiny, not weaker.
An important point about accountability. Now let's move to our Ground Zero report. This is a deeply concerning human story about Bengali-speaking migrants facing fear, detention, and even being pushed into Bangladesh. What's happening on the ground?
It's a truly distressing situation, and the article really brings the human element to the forefront through individual stories.
Like Nazimuddin Mandal's.
Yes, his story is harrowing. Detained in Mumbai, slapped, forced to sing the national anthem, phone checked. Then this awful 6-day, 2,500-kilometer journey.
Ending where?
Ending with him being forced across the border into Bangladesh with barely any money. His video plea for help went viral, thankfully, and he was eventually repatriated.
But he wasn't the only one.
Far from it. The article mentions around 400 workers detained by Odisha police for 72 hours, well over the legal 24-hour limit, and Amir Sheikh's case.
The one with an Indian birth certificate.
Yes. An Indian citizen jailed in Rajasthan, then pushed into Bangladesh. The immediate impact is devastating. Documents confiscated, unable to find work, living in fear.
It sounds like a systematic crackdown, not just isolated cases.
Right,
What's
yeah.
the political context? How are different parties framing this?
It definitely seems widespread. The article notes the crackdown intensified after the regime change in Bangladesh last August and the Pahalgam attack earlier this year.
And it's happening across multiple states.
Yes. Delhi police checked over 16,000 Bengali speakers. Haryana set up detention centers. Gujarat detained over 1,000 people. Politically, the responses are varied.
West Bengal's chief minister.
Mamata Banerjee has alleged targeted hostility in DJP-ruled states. She even spoke of a possible secret notification ordering detentions and called for language movement.
And the central government or BJP?
Prime Minister Modi stated that while Bengali Asmita identity is a priority, infiltrators will be dealt with according to law. There was also controversy over a Delhi police letter calling Bengali Bangladeshi.
And a BJP official's comment denying Bengali as a language.
Yes, Amit Malviya's statement. The West Bengal BJP leadership, meanwhile, insists the drive targets Bangladeshi infiltrators, not migrants from West Bengal, and they've called for sanitizing the voter list.
A very charged situation. What about the deeper roots, the history, the economics driving this migration?
That's crucial context. West Bengal has faced serious economic decline. Industrial production plummeted from 24% of India's total at independence to just 3.5% by 2021.
Huge job losses, too.
Yes, 3 million jobs lost in unincorporated enterprises between 2015 and 2023. Historical factors are cited: British companies leaving after independence, militant trade unions impacting industry.
Forcing people to look for work elsewhere.
Exactly. And then you have the border itself, over 2,200 kilometers long, porous, with deep cultural and historical ties to Bangladesh, shaped by partitions and the 1971 war.
Creating complex identities.
Absolutely. Look at Shamsul Haq and Rabiul Haq. They chose Indian citizenship under the 2015 land border agreement, fulfilling all criteria, yet they were arrested on suspicion.
It cuts across communities then, not just Muslims.
That's a key point. While most detainees are Muslim, some from the Maitu community, Hindu Dalits who migrated from Bangladesh, are also affected. As a lawyer in the article states, when the police pick up people on the basis of language, both Hindus and Muslims will be arrested.
Leaving migrants in an impossible position.
Completely. Like Rakesh Allah mentioned in the piece, they return to West Bengal, find no work, and are forced to leave again, facing this constant risk.
A truly difficult situation. Okay, after that very heavy but important discussion, let's end our deep dive today with something, well, hopefully a bit more uplifting. Monsoon train journeys. The weekend section paints a lovely picture of scenic train escapes. What makes these so special?
It's a welcome change of pace, isn't it? And the article captures the magic beautifully through people's experiences.
Like Megadesai's Vistadome journey.
Exactly. On the Dadar-Madgan Janchatabdi Express, she talks about these incredible views: rivers overflowing, waterfalls crashing down rocks, dense green cliffs draped in mist.
That's amazing.
She felt you didn't need a five-star resort with a view like that from the train, though she does advise booking those Vistadome seats well in advance.
Good tip.
And then there's Anand Ramaswamy's trip from Visakhapatnam to Araku Valley, also on a Vistadome coach. He loved the surprises, suddenly bursting out into fog or a cliff dripping with water. His takeaway was powerful. The journey really is the whole point.
It really shifts the focus from destination to the experience itself. The article also mentions more luxurious options.
Oh, yes. It touches upon experiences like the Deccan Odyssey. Shubhani Bawa described her 7-night journey on the Maharashtra Splendor route.
What was that like?
Extremely well-maintained and truly luxurious. 2 dining cars, gourmet meals on silverware, even unique off-train experiences like lunch with royalty.
Sounds incredible, but probably comes with a hefty price tag.
It certainly does. The article gives indicative pricing for 2025-26. A deluxe cabin for one person is around 7.74 lakh rupees. A presidential suite, over 16 lakh.
Wow, okay, that's definitely a luxury travel.
Yeah.
But is there anything making curated train journeys, maybe not that luxurious, but still special, more accessible?
Yes, and that's where the Harat Gaurav scheme comes in. It's a really interesting initiative from Indian Railways, launched in late 2021.
How does it work?
It allows private companies to lease entire trains from Indian Railways. They provide the coaches and tracks, and the private operator designs and runs curated, theme-based tours.
So opening it up to private players.
Exactly. The first such private train ran from Coimbatore to Shirdi. It had different classes, AC, sleeper onboard crew, meals included.
Making it more organized.
Right. Operators like Tour Times are mentioned, focusing on providing seamless end-to-end travel. They're offering new itineraries, too.
Like what?
There's an 11-day Coromandel Coastal Bliss tour costing around 26,771 per person, or a longer 15-day Northeast Discovery trip on a deluxe AC tourist train with fares ranging from about 1.16 lakh to 1.67 lakh rupees.
So different price points and experiences becoming available.
Definitely. And the key thing, especially during the monsoon, is how these journeys transform the view. The landscape becomes almost cinematic, as the article puts it. It also connects to broader government initiatives like Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, promoting cultural connection through travel.
So it seems the final takeaway is that it's really more than just a trip.
I think so. The article beautifully captures this idea that in India, where the monsoon is such an emotional, evocative time,
It really is.
these train journeys offer something quite grounding. You see the landscape change, the light shift. It suggests that sometimes all you really need is that window seat to feel a sense of profound transformation. It's about appreciating the journey itself.
Thank you for listening. If today's episode gave you something useful, consider following us on Spotify so you're the first to hear the next one. You can give suggestions by contacting on Twitter handle given in the episode description. Apologies if you couldn't reach out earlier. The message inbox was restricted. You should be able to now. As always, we are eager to hear what our listeners want to be informed about. We wish you a great day.